All right, let's now take a look at where America may go under the next 4 years with Barack Obama. I'm now joined by Jeffrey Laurenti, the Senior Fellow at the Century Foundation on International Affairs. It is good to have you on RT today. Thanks for joining us on the program. Let's talk about the victory here. How much of Obama's victory do you think can actually be attributed to him? Many saying that a lot voted for him just to not vote for Romney.
Well, actually, many people voted for Romney with much greater enthusiasm in order not to vote for President Obama, in order to oust President Obama. And in fact, I think that Obama's victory was largely one of reaffirmation of support for him by those who had put him in office 4 years ago. And it's a coalition that reaches beyond what had always been the traditional notion of the United States as a white Protestant or white American country. That's really the dynamic, because when you look at the demographics of this election, it points to the America of the future as one that is much more multiracial and multicultural, and the Republican Party is increasingly unable to deal with that fact.
Well, just to draw on what you're saying here, some people are saying that the Hispanic vote and the African-American vote were crucial in getting Obama another 4 years in the White House. Is that true?
They were absolutely crucial because it was a prodigious turnout among black voters in particular. And the entire black community, the whole network of civil society and black communities came together almost spontaneously to provide support. It was a cause, once again. And among Latinos, clearly the Republican Party, in its white, angry base, has alienated them as well. And the president's numbers among Latinos were higher than 4 years ago. One of the few demographic groups where you saw a leap forward rather than some slippage. So both of these, and the even more remarkable support for him among the small but rapidly growing Asian minorities, to 76% of their votes, which Republicans had always thought as a successful economically immigrant group, they'll be ours. They also feel repelled by a kind of white, almost xenophobic core, the Tea Party inner core of the Republican Party today.
Now, it could be a bit of an uphill challenge ahead for the next 4 years for President Obama. In his victory speech, he promised a very bright future for America, though given Republican and corporate resistance. Well, what kind of challenges are we looking at here?
Well, you speak exactly to what are the huge hurdles, because I don't think that the Republican Party is able in the short term to accept the reality of Obama's victory and now try to move a little bit to the center to work with him, because the pressure from within its now even angrier populist right wing will militate against it. We can hope that they will. President Obama, although the campaign was not fought on foreign policy issues, certainly there were key foreign policy issues at stake. And here, even the Tea Party is not particularly the problem. It is the kind of military political complex within the Republican Party that has been pushing the more aggressive, some might say, or at least bellicose-sounding policies that we had come to know all too well during President Bush's term. So you have an interesting conflict or confluence of forces that will be shaping the American foreign policy debate in the next 4 years.
Well, you raise an interesting point, drawing the parallels between the military-industrial complex, the Republicans, the Romney supporters, also harking back to the days of George W. Bush. A lot of people saying that the Cold Warriors from the days of Bush were certainly aligning themselves with the Romney administration. Just one more question for you before I run out of time here. Obama spent the last 4 years failing to bring Democrats and Republicans together. Do you think he'll bother anymore?
Well, he's going to have to try, because the Republicans still have control of the House of Representatives. And if anything is going to get passed through the Congress, you're going to have some Republican support. The question is whether they, now that they don't have to run against him anymore, this is his last 4 years, whether they will be a little more willing to reach accommodations. That we don't know.
All right, Jeffrey Laurenti, Senior Fellow at the Century Foundation on International Affairs. Thanks for coming on RT today.